Okay, it is Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, minutes and reports received and filed.
Yes, from the auditor and the collector.
Okay. Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings and events.
Campo Board of Directors tomorrow. Chamber Connections Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock-ish. Eastside Business Association meeting Friday morning. You got a ribbon cutting out to Riverside Amphitheater Friday at 10:30. If you haven't been out there, you need to go check it out. It's
Yeah, it
really
is.
nice. I hope they keep it nice. So we had a good time out there Friday with the health department, so I think that's about it.
On Thursday, I have a Road and Bridge Committee meeting, a Port Authority meeting, and a Salute to America meeting. And next Tuesday, Judge Walker's Community Research Project meeting.
Okay. Tomorrow I've got a bank board meeting. I've got a Cap Region luncheon meeting, city county meeting at 4. Thursday, I've got a communities meeting with Cindy Sneeders and Sharon Knott. We're going to start putting together that barbecue for our communities. I think at 1 now we've got the medical press Zoom conference. I just saw in the paper today the Republican Club's doing a picnic next Thursday night. It's also the first Thursday Night Live. Friday is the most important day. It's the Lions peanut sale. And this corner down here is all of the elected officials and Aaron's sitting in for the sheriff and Harry's gonna be, I got city councilmen and everything. So everybody needs to buy peanuts from us. And then Sunday, my article's in the News Tribune. So
The elected officials corner?
it's
So there's
the,
gonna be a bunch of people swerving over
yeah, there are, yeah.
towards them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when Larry was in the club, yeah, Larry Rodman would get out in the street. I'm surprised he never got hit. But anyway, okay, any commission comments? Okay. Come in here, sir.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry we had other people coming to this morning, but it has been a very busy morning, I will tell you.
That's what Sierra said. You guys have been busy.
Cruiser.
Okay, this week is EMS week. So, we have a proclamation, whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, including Cole County EMS, are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, law enforcement officers, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. Whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services provided by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, the Cole County Commission, in recognition of this event, does hereby proclaim the week of May 16th, 22nd, 2021 as Emergency Medical Services Week, and encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. And what you got, boy, that's really good.
They show up.
I am really impressed, man.
They just show up.
Did you come with sirens and lights?
Well, we accept this on behalf of the people that work for Cole County, with Cole County, and provide services to Cole County. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, express our gratitude to everybody else. We wish you all could be up here, but y'all are busy. Thanks. Heather, appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Sure. We like each other.
Oh, wait.
No, you look more official with them on.
Thank you. I'll let you take that back to the office, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Okay. Bids and contracts, discussion of BKD, we're gonna table till next week. Signing of fiscal year 20 State Homeland Security Program grant funding awards.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I get the big one. Okay. Shh, here comes Kristen. Stop talking about it.
So this is finally the sub-award agreements for the grant applications that I applied through April of last year. If you look at the very first one, it's an even $1,000 that covers our generator load testing. The second one, and Sam, I'm sorry, yours is completely packed together, but if you look at the following, that $2,697 that was applied on behalf of our local law enforcement for PPE, which was before SEMA started sending out the PPE cash for law and fire. So this is in addition to that. There's an $11,000, which was approved for sustainment of our mobile emergency operations center. A lot of that is like our satellite communications, internet, things of that nature. And then the last one is for $76,670. That one's going to cover our new HAS ID, because the previous one that we had is no longer able to be updated. So this purchase is a brand new one. And then it's just general sustainment for our hazmat team, or CSERT. So Sam, what I need you to do, obviously I'm not in a huge rush, but if you can sign the first sheets and then initial everyone afterwards.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
While you're here, do you want, I
Yes.
mean, even though it's new business, do you want to do the discussion of purchasing new computers, 3 for the mioc?
Yes.
That way we can get you done and you can,
Perfect.
you can.
That's what you emailed us. That's what we got, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yep.
So due to the updating of the CAD system, the computers, the dispatch computers that are currently on the mioc are insufficient. Our team with the mioc got with Brian, and this looks like it's going to be our best option to replace the ones that are currently on the mioc. We don't have this in the budget at this point in time, so I needed your guys' approval to go ahead and move forward with that purchase. It looks like they're $1,000, $1,026.33 a piece. We would need 3 of them.
Will we get funding for these then? Because this is a regional machine that we do this on the mioc.
You're exactly right, Jeff.
So-
And I had applied this last year, so fiscal '21. These are in there. However, they won't as you saw, like with this previous fiscal year 20, we're just now able to get the signatures for it or approval. Procurement probably won't start until the end of the year, if not the beginning of next. And this is in our fiscal 21 application, which hasn't been even looked at yet. So we were wanting to get this approved before at least the Cole County Fair.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, our mioc right now is currently at Callaway County because their fiber was cut, so they lost all dispatch capabilities for fire, law enforcement, or their EMS. So that's, and like you said, it is a regional asset.
It comes in handy, that's
Very much
good.
so,
I know
yes.
with Miller County, they used it at one time, so,
And yes, typically it is grant funded
yeah.
and covered, but
So we'll just get the money after the fact.
we could, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I need to make sure we go after it, so, I mean, we need to get it updated. So I'm okay with going forward with it.
I am too.
You got a contract, or we just have to approve this today, or is this on? Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the purchase for the EMA mioc dispatch computers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you got anything else?
Nope.
While she's here, I'll give you
Yes.
an update.
Oh,
on
you're
the-
not done.
Okay,
Okay, siren.
I'm sorry. I just found out yesterday that insurance is going to pay for the siren out at 54 and 17. So I just sent Sierra an email this morning to go ahead and get that ordered, if that's still okay with you guys. There's a $5,000 deductible, but they are sending us the other $29,445.
Yeah, I thought we approved fixing it before, so
Well, this
now
was
we're
the
just getting
second
money
one.
though.
Yeah.
this is the second
Right.
one.
This is the second one.
Right, but I thought we approved fixing it, just, we didn't know if insurance was gonna be taking care of it,
I think that was the first one.
so.
That was
Yeah,
the first
we
one,
did
yeah.
the sole source.
It was like one
I think
right
that was the
after
first
another.
one. This is two now, we've,
On the first one, we
Yeah.
looked at fixing it versus the second one, we
Yeah, I
kind of
know,
knew for
you
sure.
brought this up a couple of weeks ago, I thought
We did the sole source for it.
Yeah, we were just getting ready for the sole source one.
Okay.
So can we proceed with going ahead and proceeding on the second siren at 54 and 17?
Did the sole source all go through and everything, we're done with that, so we just have to approve the fix, and the money coming from the insurance is just on top of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a separate issue, so, yeah, I'm fine with it.
yep.
And then I'll have her give you an update of the one on Zion and Country Club. That was the one that the first damaged one. It's been on back order to get the siren or something.
It has been, yeah, to
And
get
it's
the parts
supposed to be
in.
here tomorrow.
I believe so, yeah, sometime this week.
Okay.
I'm sure it's got computer chips in it, so it's.
Yeah.
So, all right, if you'd let that company know that they're.
I did this morning when you said that.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, we will
Vote on
go,
fixing that then?
No, not really. There'll be a purchase order out there for it. I mean,
Okay.
okay, approval and signing of city-county cooperative project agreements, MSP. I pulled those off somewhere.
So we have two agreements, city, county cooperative project agreements on the agenda for approval. These two projects were discussed when David Bangy and Matt Marash came to commission meeting, I believe, 2 weeks ago. And it was verbally agreed to as far as the projects go, and these are just the agreements to make it official. First project, I think, was MSP development. And that amount is for $1,553,908.23. And then the second project is the Grant Street sidewalk and roadway project, and that amount is $550,000 even. So these two projects, Jill reviewed them and agreed to the content of the agreement, and I would just ask for your approval of these two agreements with the city.
Just a quick question or two, Eric. These would represent the wrap-up of G.
That is correct.
So they're not 50/50, but it's because we were lagging behind some of the funding of some of the other joint projects during that 5-year period.
Correct. If memory serves me right, the city put in a little more money into Capitol Avenue improvements, and then they did have some money towards the Dunklin and Clark. That project, of course, was canceled, but they did have some money out of their portion of the sales tax that went towards that. So These amounts are to wrap up everything that we had committed of the 5.5 million.
Okay,
So this completes everything.
right. So as these wrap up, we can almost say goodbye to G and hello to H.
Yes.
Starting next year.
Yes.
Okay.
And these would be paid out this year, so it gets us off as far as accounting purposes goes. It completes it on our end.
Okay.
We went out to the park Friday night. Grant Street does need some updating, upgrading. Yeah.
So,
We good?
do two separate ones.
I'll make a motion to agree and sign the MSP development contract with the Joint City County Capital Improvement Sales Tax Project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then a motion to agree with, sign the Grant Street Sidewalk and Roadway Project Joint City and County Capital Improvement Sales Tax.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All righty. Now we get David back in here, approval of capital purchases for EMS.
Good morning, I've got several to bring in front of you here.
Yeah.
Let's start with the chairs, that was yours. All right, I'll get on the microphone here in a sec. So I've got, this is the second one. I've got chairs in dispatch that are only about 3 years old, but they're set in 24 hours a day. And they are failing quickly. We'd like to get some, we'd like to replace 3 before they break. I got with my communications supervisor, who got with Miss Bryant over here to find the best deal possible that was that met our needs. These, you will see, are rated a larger capacity, so if we've got heavier people sitting in them, they should hold up. I think the last time we bought chairs was about 2018 for dispatch, and we have reworked them several times. The chairs that Jessica found that would work for us are $291.13, and we would ask for permission to be able to purchase 3. And the total for that is $859.26. Furniture has already, we bought some desks, and that was a capital item, so we would ask you to approve these so that we could move some money around out of some other accounts to pay for them. So I know that's always the next question, how are we gonna pay for them? So, questions?
To me, that's too cheap. We're used to buying $600 chairs and $900 chairs.
If we buy $600 chairs, they're gonna wear out anyway, because we're in them 24 hours a day. If we can
I
get
know,
another 3 years out
I'm
of
just being
these,
facetious.
Yeah.
These are very
if
reasonable.
we get another 3 years out of these, we'll be
Yeah.
good.
Very, very reasonable.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'll make a motion to approve the EMS request to the purchase of 3 chairs for dispatchers from Staples at a cost of $859.26.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approval of EMS scheduling software.
Gentlemen, the next thing you have in front of you there is IOPS 360. It is a web-based scheduling platform. We've been looking at alternatives. We currently use a product called Verico. I know they were using it when I came here in 17. It is very difficult to manipulate from the backside. It is very difficult to do the scheduling, and it's a nightmare when it comes to payroll. We are looking for something to minimize time spent and efforts. It cooperates with BS&A. We did check with them. That's one of the accounts that they work very well with, is BS&A. We've played in their sandbox and have looked at several other opportunities. We will, Verico and it will be running side by side for a period of time until they can get one build up and we get everything moved over. And then it would be our intentions to drop Verico. This software is $43.92 annually, and I have put a packet in front of you explaining that. If there's any questions, I'll try and answer them.
This is replacing Verico.
This will replace,
And
yes.
Verico, correct me if I'm wrong, when I talked to Chief about this, I thought it was about the same price.
Verico, I think, is a little over $6,000, I believe. So this is a little cheaper.
Okay, and then it works with our system a little better too, so it might help more with payroll and as well, which I know that's kind of the.
So Debbie and I do payroll together, and it's a nightmare on both ends.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice to get that fixed, so they talk to each other. So,
And Brian, we have your blessing on the,
Web-based, so it
Web-based.
shouldn't have an impact at all on our current network system.
Okay. Yeah, I always like Brian's expert advice as well. Okay.
the current Verico will go away after,
At the end of the contract, which is what, October, do you remember? Yeah, I think it's like, I'm taking this off the top of my head, but I believe Verico comes up in October, so they'll run side by side for the time being until they get one build up, we get all the bugs worked out of it, we get stuff moved over, and then we'll drop Verico as soon as it's up and going.
okay.
How much notice do we have to give Verico?
I don't know, but
Okay.
I think my boss has got that figured out, I
Okay.
believe, so
Okay.
I know he's looked at
Okay,
it.
okay.
yeah, I think that's what, one of the things I mentioned was the time frame we needed to have to give them enough notice and to be able to get out of it, otherwise we go for another year.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't remember what it was exactly either. Yeah, well, like you said, since Brian's good with it.
Okay.
Web-based.
All right, the next thing I have for you is some battery chargers for stations. Because obviously we've added a couple of stations, we find that we do not have enough chargers. That is, the first one is Wireless USA, that's on a state bid, and that is for 4 radio chargers that we could put at our outlying stations for a total of $561. These will charge this radio that I'm wearing, is what it amounts to. Currently, right now, they're having to come back in and swap out their batteries at headquarters, and we take them out of their area of responsibility when they do that.
So we used CARES money for those facilities.
Yeah, we'll have to move some money around on I would assume on these, I assume that's where the money comes from, so.
But we put all that money into payroll, so we'd be able to dip into that to pay for these.
We put money back into the capital side, in the 650 fund, so, in the emergency account.
Or are we just better off taking it out of EMS contingency?
That's up to you guys, any capital you buy should.
Anything that, to me, qualifies for CARES, I'd just assume.
Well, when we made that modification, or when we were allowed to use EMS salaries under the calculation, maybe this is getting very nitty, but maybe that's where we have to use it. And it really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter in terms of outflow of cash from the county for something in this situation.
So at the end of the year, when we took the money for salaries, we put money back into their budget for the 10 additional people. And the remaining amount is held in capital. So there's an account in our capital account for emergency.
Okay.
We're now changing that account over because we tied that one out to CARES. So there will be an account in there now, I don't even know what we call it. So there is funding sitting there that you can continue to use if you would like to do that. that.
Okay. I didn't understand it to be that way, but if that's the case, we can just draw down on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay,
I think that sounds the easiest way too, then it doesn't
Yeah, I
have to
like-
come out of their capital. This is kind of something that we didn't see coming. so.
Does that go for the chairs as well?
I don't know, I got more stuff to go in front of you yet anyway, so.
Okay.
yeah,
So the chairs were in the communications dispatch, so,
These are specifically going to the two new stations that were added under CARES funding, I will
Okay.
tell you that. There's the radio chargers that I just talked to you about, the Lucas chargers that I'm getting ready to talk to you about, and the Zoll chargers for the, life packs. What are you gonna put, the cardiac monitors are not life packs, the cardiac monitors are all chargers that are going to the stations that we add. So, I'll go ahead and get this one in front of you, because I know you're tired of me being like a jumping bean up and down.
Debbie.
Let's go back on that other one that you guys didn't approve.
Sorry.
Oh.
These are all kind of one and the same, and one to just different things they're charging.
Yeah, that's exactly right, sir. There are all chargers, and they are all for things that are on every ambulance, and currently where the ambulances are having to leave their area and come back to headquarters to get a fresh battery. That's what we're trying to accomplish, is to keep Wardsville truck in Wardsville as much as we possibly can unless they're on a call, and to keep the county park station the same way.
I'm good.
Yeah, we need to get them, figuring out where we pay for them out of is just kind of down in the weeds, but we can figure that out.
So are we talking about three motions here, or?
Please, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Present it. You did make the motion on the 3 chairs,
Okay,
and if you guys are
We did.
okay, we're gonna take that out of the capital and EMS. Okay, so then the next one was the software, or whatever, what's the name of the company?
For IOPS 360 for $4,392.
Motion to approve the, are we on Zoll? Where are we?
360.
IOPS 360, this would be the scheduling software, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Back to the scheduling software. Motion to approve the request to move from,
Verico.
help me out here.
Verico. to-
Verico to IOPS 360.
And that will continue to come out of the same place that Verico is.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And then the next purchase was Wireless USA.
Motion to approve the Wireless USA invoice for the battery chargers at $561.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one would be the striker for Lucas.
Motion to approve the Stryker purchase for the batteries for those ambulances at Wardsville and County Park, $5,306.78.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And that will come out of 652, the capital.
And finally, a motion to approve the Zoll invoice for the battery chargers at the two locations previously stated, $4,236.12.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You want a copy of these?
I'm gonna give them to her, so. Just give them to her.
Just give them to her. Okay, thank you.
You can have our copy. Here. Okay, do we have any unfinished business? Nope. New business, accounts payable review.
Yes, I'll ask for approval of accounts payable pending review.
Make a motion, approve accounts payable upon review.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second and final reading of budget adjustment number 9.
This is for $17,621.34. I do need action today. This is the EMS. This is part of the water damage claim that we had on them. Oh, sorry. What's that hand over there? Sorry, you get the next one.
Here.
I was just gonna pass it around, try to save you some up and down on them chairs, so we'll have to buy you a new one.
Whoa.
Down it.
Did you see this week?
It doesn't make
It's all in and out money, so. Make a motion to approve court order
9.
budget adjustment number 9 for $17,621.34.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, second and final reading of budget adjustment number 10.
This is for $3,460. This is for the law enforcement fund, and this is, what is this? This is Missouri Department of Public Safety, and this is a Homeland Security grant. I do need action today.
Y'all need to see this one. Make a motion to approve court order budget adjustment number 10 for $3,460, the law enforcement fund.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first reading of budget adjustment number 11.
This is for $18,392. This is the law enforcement fund, and this was that vehicle that was totaled. No action today. We'll take it up in 10 days.
Okay. We did discussion, purchasing, recorder to discuss personnel and revenues. Judy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judy came and talked to me, last week or whenever, I don't know, I said, just, we'll put it on the agenda.
We did.
Yes.
I try to keep the paperwork down to a minimum so that we could all, but also in doing that, I wanted to compare apples to apples. So what I ran for you was your top sheet. You're going to look at a 10-year overview, which runs from 2011 to 2020. And what I want you to look at is last year, and it was during the COVID year, our office brought in $670,000 and $479. That fee is over $165,000 greater than we have ever had that I know of in the history of the recorder's office. But what I want you to look at too is that we've always had 5 full-time employees. And I actually made the copy out of the auditor's book, which will show you that. Up until 2015, we had 5 deputies. Going into 2019, I knew the work in the office that we were behind in, and I did present that we were 10 years behind. Excuse me. And with the grant we received, which was wonderful, the grant we received with the CARES Fund, we're going to be receiving another 400,000 images, which is from our Aperture card. So we have done a lot of work. The office has been brought up into the technology world, but we are short-staffed. And I really need you to look at the years 2011, even before 2020, with the greater increase that we have had. It's just been consistent in our revenues that we bring in. That's 80% of our business. The 20% is the service side, which is our patron assistance and questions and phones. The only thing I can show for some of that is if you look at the report, the classification of fees report, if you look at E, the general funds, you can go down and look at what the copy charges are. And usually, if somebody comes in and we help them find a copy of their deed, it's 1 to 2 pages. And when we're seeing copy charges on our report of $3,000 up to $5,000, then you could divide that in half and know that we've waited on, at least for that time period, 2,000 to 3,000 people, and that's just what we can account for. And there's a lot of other work that I cannot run reports for, which is on our service side. So what I'm actually doing today is I am going to make a proposal to County Commission that if the recorder can pay the salary for the rest of this year, if the County Commission could pay the benefits. I thought that would be a 50-50 split to let us at least get some reprieve and get another full-time employee in the recorder's office. And then I will add that employee in my budget for next year. Because I think the years 2011 through 2020 is going to show you that we still, history shows that we had a 5th employee and that we can show that we still need, because we are still growing. This year, our revenues are greater than they were this time last year, so we are about $63,000 greater at the end of April than we were in 2020 at the end of April. And 2020, like I said, was over $165,000 greater revenue. So what I'm trying to show with these reports is the continuous growth and how hard it is for current staff to maintain the 3-day by statute of keeping everything recorded and done effectively in the office. So, and by
I'm
the
sorry,
way,
what did you, comparing the first quarter last year to this year, what was the difference?
it's 4 months, actually,
Okay.
January through April.
Okay. And
We're
what's the difference
about $63,000 greater in revenues this year than
this
we
year
were
than
last year.
Okay.
So Jay, when we talked last week, your current staff right now, you've got 5 full-time?
I have 4, currently I have 4 full-time, and I have 2
2
part-time,
part-time.
which is paid for out of the recorder's fund, but
So
the
the 2
problem,
part-time though are supposed to be working on the,
backlog.
doing the scanning and the backlog.
The indexing of the 10-year backlog that we had,
And they're not being able to really work on that because they're having to fill in
they have to fill in, right.
on the other areas. So
Right,
we're
they
really not
haven't been
getting
able
caught
to-
up on any of that. And I think that was
Correct.
something that we saw as a priority, was trying to get that stuff caught up.
And the other problem is we hit a wall because they can't go over 1,000 hours a year. So then we have to stop working them,
And then you say you're gonna possibly have somebody out at the end of the year as well,
possibly.
so.
I mean, I realize that this $670,000, and right now we're still going strong, and I know that could taper off, but that's also an unknown. Even if it tapers off, I think we can still show that the revenues over the last 10 years, and we could even go back further, still suffice in proving that the 5th employee is needed. And there was a precedent set up until 2015.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. I was fine with it, doing it till the end of the year and working with the recorder's fee, paying the salary, and we take care of the benefits till the end of the year, and then at budget time, we could revisit it and see if we want to continue it. So I really didn't have any other questions.
Okay.
I visited with the recorder as well, and I mean, it's obviously you're busy because the number of transactions and the amount of revenue that's being collected are all increased. So I don't have a problem with, or accept her recommendation to fund this the way you've presented and for the balance of the year, and then you get to make your case come budget time for next year. But after 4 months, plus I had plus 66,000 after 4 months. If you do that you do that for the rest of the year, it's going to be plus $200,000. Now that may be a stretch, but it's obvious you guys are busy and working hard and processing items. So I'm good with the request.
I am too, so.
Yep.
So we need a new MOU
Yeah.
with the recorder.
For
For
the,
that agreement. that
okay.
she's going to pay a portion out of her recorder's fund. I think you have one right now for the part-time.
I do.
So it would just be adjusting that MOU to include you paying the full-time salary staff and us picking up the benefits for that.
Okay,
Is that-
all on one? You want a separate MOU for this one,
You
or?
could do a separate one for the rest of this year, but if it continues next year, we'll.
I
provide
have it
another
in
one.
Word, Judy, so
Okay.
I'll just alter it for you if I get the
Thank you.
specifics.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's gonna, Debbie just brought up a good point. Does it have something to do with COVID? And I think that's a very good point because a lot of it's got to do with recording house sales and titles and recording all that stuff. So there's a lot going on there. We kind of briefly talked about that, so I'm not so sure that we can't come back later on and get the recovery money and pay for this. I mean, it's gonna be county money either which way.
Well, it will, and we're still so foggy on the new rescue. Are you talking about the new CARES 2 or Rescue 1, whatever it's going to be called?
Yeah, yeah, so that's something we can look into, but I think it's got every bit to do with that. And I think a lot of it, though, is stuff online, and that's why we're trying to get some of this stuff indexed, because the title companies can do this stuff themselves instead of tying up some of our people at the counters.
Right.
So-
Currently, I mean, title companies have to go back 45 years unless it's a corporate, then they have to go back 60 years, and currently we are still indexing back that far. So they can do a pretty good search online, but it's not everything. They still need to come in and go back in the index books.
So let's get the MOU together, and then we can look at the recovery money later on if that's something we can apply it to.
What's our action today?
Just the direction for Jill to get the MOU together, and then we'll get it back on the agenda. And, I mean, you can give Judy the direction that she's ready to go out and hire if you would like, or wait till the MOU is done. It's up to
Debbie, you
you.
can just give me the numbers.
Okay, so then we probably give Judy the go-ahead.
I would give her the, yeah. Go ahead and,
Thank you. 34.
see how easy that was?
Thank you for listening and your time. Am I finished? Do I need to do anything else?
No.
We're good?
Thank
No,
you.
You're
Just
good.
wait for the
Yeah. Run,
MOU,
Judy.
Jill?
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
won't take any time.
Okay. Next, we have, I'm sorry, we have Father Lawrence to give the collector's annual settlement. Padre.
Father Lawrence, what's he talking about?
Well, he's gonna,
Okay.
I told him if we went to Father Doyle,
I don't even think I'm gonna get to go to purgatory. I'm gonna go straight past it and to hell.
I'll put in a good word for you.
oh,
Where?
boy, I'll see what that's gonna get you.
Well, they're a lot quicker. He'll need to sign that seal. I need a copy. He's gonna sign the seal copy.
He'll be back Thursday.
Just curious if this is when I should make my other request. I bring in, let's see, my revenue for the county, the 1%, this is just part of my revenue, is a little over $1 million, and my budget is about 35% of that. So we probably have a lot of room for negotiating.
Bring in any money.
This is my annual settlement that I present every year. The main thing to look at really is our total collections, match our total disbursements. We're balanced in that matter. Our overall total charges were over $101,897,658.64. We're actually out of balance on that by $79.69. And that's made from, that difference is from from our delinquent year charges and credits. The real estate was off $15.51, and the personal property was off $64.18. The important things, some of the real differences this year on the annual settlement, on the front page, you'll see total protested is at 0. This is the first time since I've been collector, I believe, that, so in 13 years, that protested taxes have been at 0. With Ameren's settlement, that means we no longer are holding any protested taxes. We distributed a little over, I think, $5 million between last year and this year to close out Ameren's protest. Our delinquents, total delinquents, are about $3,558,000 roughly, and that's pretty par with what it is. It normally ranges in that $300,000 to $350,000 range. If you have any questions about the breakdown, but you can see how we distributed all the monies. If you have any questions in particular, I'd be glad to answer those.
So the delinquents will still keep trickling in, or?
Yes, when we look at, if you look at last year on page 3, it'll show how much we collected in delinquents, almost $2 million in real estate, and about $1.5 million in personal property in the last year. And you'll see that we have about $1.2 million in personal property and real estate carried forward, and we have about $2 million in real estate and personal property from the current year going forward. Real estate, very seldom do we not collect everything, because obviously after 3 years we can sell it on the courthouse for taxes. Some of those properties haven't sold, and I'll be taking those in front of the BOE this year. Some of those that have over 5 years of past due taxes, the BOE has the authority to give me permission to write those off. That brings it to just 5 years delinquent, which will make it easier to sell out on the courthouse steps. Most of those that have not sold are because of large city liens on them that have been carried. Well, we got rid of one last year because the city agreed to abate the lien, and that particular property went to Habitat for Humanity, so it'll get back on the tax rolls. But that lien on that one was over $100,000, and it was a vacant lot. So, nobody's going to pay $100,000 for, I think it was only a 50-foot wide lot to boot on that. So most of the ones that we have that have not sold are basically because of that, because of large liens on them.
I don't have any questions.
Any questions?
No, I don't.
So I basically need your all's approval so the clerk can sign and put his seal on it and submit it to the state.
Yep, I'm good.
I'm good.
Motion to accept and approve the collector's annual settlement for 2020.
Second.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
this says for year ended 2/28/21, so you're on a,
My year ends on February 28th,
okay.
but it's basically the 2020 tax year.
All right, for the 2020 tax year, let's make it that way.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend.
Okay. Sheriff's Department overhead door purchase.
Aaron, you gotta figure out how Sheriff Wheeler does this. He's usually first on the list.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's fine. It was kind of a last minute thing, so I figured I'd just be
Somehow
appreciative.
he usually works it up above something, no?
Yeah, I don't have any cards to play just yet, so. So I think I had sent an email out to you guys informing you that the parking garage door had broke there, the exit door. Greg and Jordy reached out to Overhead Doors, and they were able to give us a quote over the weekend. And the ascertained that the springs were broke. Actually, they're broken both sides. However, the exit side, the engine isn't strong enough right now to pull it without the assistance of the spring. So that's about $2,831. And then there's some of the curtains that are damaged, and we'd like to go ahead and get those as well. And those are $800. We're gonna have some in supply, kind of like we did with the actual Sallyport doors, in case this would occur. Because, and Greg, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it usually takes about a month or so to get those curtains. Yeah, so it takes a considerable amount of time, and then the door's down during that time frame. Checking with Jessica and Greg yesterday, there is a sole source with overhead doors at Central Missouri. However, we don't have the funds, so I'm asking if we could get the funds transferred from contingency to pay for these two items.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get it
Yeah.
fixed. We talked about, you called yesterday.
Yeah.
And I got to look at the email too, so.
So are these the original springs?
Yeah, the transfers.
Okay. I was gonna say, as often as those doors go up and down, I didn't know what the lifespan.
Last time I saw, they had almost 100,000 cycles.
Okay.
Cycles up and down.
And the third one is to have a spare, actually. So there's one for each door, and then the third would be a spare. And we're hoping this fixes it.
Yeah. You might tell them you have to move money for your contingency for that pump.
No, I think we also, yesterday, the circulating pump for the hot water heater, it went out as well. So we're at year 10 or 11, I think, in the building, so things are starting to show their wear and tear.
Those are just 24/7 too, though, right? So,
Boy, the sheriff leaves and everything just goes.
Yeah, I know, right?
well, these aren't that big a dollar item things, so.
No.
You know, he usually brings bigger dollar items, so I'd like.
Yeah, we'll keep Aaron and we'll.
He's probably
tell
gonna bring
the
those next
FBI
week
Tell
after
the
being at this
FBI to
training.
keep him, yeah.
He's gonna send you up with it just because, so. So if we get just one spring, I mean, is that typically what happens? We have one break at a time, or do they both break?
Both broke.
Do we need to get two spares then?
No, we'll have one spare. One spare. We need a spring for the exit door and the spring for the entrance door.
Okay, so there's not two on each door?
No.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I
okay.
It goes on the
misunderstood.
ground.
Okay, well, I'm,
Okay, so you wanna get, one replacement curtain and then purchase 3 springs, and then we need to do this under,
We're purchasing 2 springs. One was already free. One we've already paid for.
okay.
I don't know if we've paid for that one or not. I know we've ordered it, but I don't know that the money.
That's been years ago, and it was sitting up at their store before they moved, and it wasn't paid for.
Okay.
It's probably been up there 5 years.
So this purchase order for 2831 is paying for it plus 2 more? Or that one's already been paid sitting there?
It's paying for 2,
Okay.
and they're.
So just make sure we're just needing 2 of them, I guess, Aaron, and
Sure.
we'll do the transfer here. I'm fine with getting 3 total,
Yeah, we're getting 3 total with 1 for spare.
and then a replacement curtain of slats. So did we need to do that? That's cooperative purchase, so we don't need to do emergency, do we?
No, since it's, sole source.
So source? Okay. So do we need action, or we just gotta sign the transfers?
Sign the transfers.
Okay. We don't need any action,
No.
I don't understand it, so, let's find out if this is for 2 or 3 of them.
It looks like it's for 3 of them to me.
And Greg seems to think we paid for the one set already, so.
We're getting 3 springs, and charging us for 2.
That 2831 is for
Yes,
2.
But,
I believe it's wrote on that.
well, it clearly says 3 each,
Yeah, it says 3.
and then 1 for stock in parentheses, and it's 2831. So to me, this quote's for 3 additional, you know.
Let me look at what mine says, before he says
Okay.
it. It says something different on it.
This is the same, this is the one that Jordy actually forwarded me,
Okay.
so.
It says 3.
So
That's
it,
for the slats,
okay.
so then we wanna wait.
I don't think they had enough money either way for the third one. For
Greg
the
seems to think
transfer.
the third one was paid for already, and they
sorry.
were just holding it for us.
They were holding it.
So we should only get billed for 2, I think, is what the question is.
2 is for 28. I will check with Will.
Yeah, just,
I
Yeah.
believe that 2 is 28 is what the current is.
They still
Yeah, I think we're okay with the 3 springs. We just gotta figure out how much we're getting charged for them and do the transfer. Otherwise, if we,
Well, it should be that price right there.
This says 3, and the price says 28
Yeah.
from overhead.
I will verify it. I'll get back. But yes. Go ahead and pay it. 328, but I think you're only sharing it.
I guess we could, okay.
if it's right, I'll sign it. If it's wrong.
I think
then
the
we'll have
total
to
is
do-
right. We need to verify whether that total pays for 2 or 3. I think we're getting 3 either way. It's whether,
says we bought and paid for one a long time ago,
And they've just been storing it for us until this time.
So there should be, we're getting 3 springs, but we're only being charged for 2, but on that, it looks like we're being charged for 3, so.
Correct,
I'm
but
fine
I-
with signing it, and if it's wrong, then we can have a new one. We can do a new transfer.
I think he's saying the 2 is going to cost you the 28.
2,800.
Yeah, I hear what he's saying, I'm just, so if it needs to be something different, just let us know. We
Yeah.
can do a different transfer, but this way we can keep it rolling.
Yeah. Okay.
Couldn't make it easy on you, Aaron.
That's all right.
Hey, I got a
Perfect.
sign for you in the check, too,
Oh,
for your tournament, so. I'll
Oh, I gotta
by
give
when
you
we get
that,
done
too.
with the Meeting,
Okay.
I'll holler at you.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate the support. So-
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Do we have anything else?
Can you go back for a minute? So I need a signature on the 3 quotes for the chargers for EMS, and then there is a contract to the IOPS 360 that needs to be signed as well.
I looked through that, Matt sent me that.
The one for the IOPS, you need a,
It has a contract behind it that needs
Contract?
to be
Okay.
signed. And then if you could just sign to accept the 3 quotes, because they have signature lines on 1 or 2 of them.
so since we already voted to approve them, do you need anything else? Any more action? Like on the IOPS, since it's an actual contract. the
I
other one's
need a
just purchase.
motion to sign the contract.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we sign the IOPS 360 contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we don't need that since we don't really have a contract on the other stuff, right? It's
Yeah,
just
if you could just
purchases.
sign the quotes
Okay,
saying you're accepting the quote.
all right,
Okay.
thank you.
Anything else?
So when we were talking to the public defender about the facilities, and you checked into the Baptist building, but they don't have anything together that would work, and he would really prefer that they be closer in locality to each other to function. We've kicked around the Adams Street building, so I don't know how deep we want to get into that. If we put some walls up and get some heating and cooling in there, it'd be a temporary fix for now. I don't know who else is needing room, but otherwise, we're gonna need to get together and do something sooner than later on a comprehensive plan. And I think a temporary fix, the Adams could be used for that.
These additional 2 to 3 public defenders are probably on their way come July 1, the fiscal year of the
I would assume.
state government, which is where those positions have been funded. So we do have to move quickly.
Yeah, I haven't heard them sending any money along with them either to help pay for putting them inside of a facility.
Well, I had suggested he check with Ron Dawson and then talking with Ann Warren too on, there's some space over. It's gonna be temporary. I hate to put money into Adams until we really decide what we are gonna do.
Well, I do
It would
too,
probably be
but-
better just to rent, you know, some office spaces, even if they're not, even if they're separate from them,
I'm not
I mean,
opposed to it.
ideally, it'd be good if they're all together.
If we can get some pricing on it and see, but if we're gonna spend $10,000 a month on rent, then we can dump 50,000 into that over there to put some heating, cooling, and walls up. There's bathrooms over there, I mean, they're on the
The
back side.
bathrooms are leaking though.
So, plumbing, or, because when we looked at it the other day, it appeared that we don't have any outside leakage necessarily. I think that was what some of the concern was before. So, I don't know what the rental would be. I might have thrown away.
Yeah, and I don't know either.
So,
I'm just, I mean, very quickly, we're gonna have to make some decisions on what we wanna do.
that's why I was bringing it up today. 'cause
Yeah,
I-
and
We
so
can keep kicking
if-
it down the road, but it's gonna
if-
catch up with us.
No, and that's,
We can maybe meet with Justin and kind of see what he needs over there, draw something up, try to get some pricing together, and I can see if he's available after our meeting today and throw that together, and we can try to get some pricing. Everything's expensive right now. I mean,
Yeah.
your electrical boxes used to cost 58 cents or $4 a box now if you can get them. It's lumber's $8 or $9 a 2x4, and it used to be, what, $2 or $3, so it's not, I don't know, it may get better down the road, but we gotta do something as far as room over there, because their conference room is the hallway. And, you know, they're kind of in a tough spot because they're between us and the state. I really wish if the state's gonna put these mandates on us to take these extra people over, they'd send some money to house them and to, you know, desks and all that, good stuff, so. Where you've got some blank space at, do you know? Downtown here, or across the road here?
well, that's what I didn't know if Ron Dawson would have some offices there, and talking with Ann Warren, they have some empty spaces, I think, up on the third floor, right across the street, so I didn't ask prices or anything, but I mean, yeah, granted, I don't think you're gonna be able to take all of them out of there and move them into one of these spaces, but if we could find some office space for, you
I mean,
know,
if they're working off-site, why don't they just work at home and you have a meeting room up there that everybody can use when they come here to meet with clients? So, but I mean, check the price out, because if it's gonna
Yeah.
be cheaper than us putting a bunch
Yeah.
of money into Adams, then
I think all the options are on the table, I understand, ideally, they'd have all of their attorneys in proximity to one another. They can, you know, share information and experience with one another to represent their clients, but we may not be able to meet the ideal situation for them. You know, they do serve Miller and, what's the other?
Montauk.
Montauk, so, you know, we'll see how that could work out. But we do need to look across the street in a couple directions and down the street and Adams Street. All of those things are in play right now, but it may be a July 1 date that we did try to accomplish something.
Yeah, I'll get,
And we currently rent space from across the street
we do.
for the clerk's office, right?
You had run, if you want to check with Ron
I will.
Dawson, I will check with, and we'll kind of just get some prices. 'Cause I really don't know what the best solution is. I'm sorry?
Well, that's true, although his storage is as good as the offices across the hall. Yeah, although it's a bigger room and it's not,
Is that those ones in the basement?
yes. Right.
If you don't mind, I know on that public defender, we charge Miller County and Montauk County very little amount. I did send them a bill for this year already. Whatever you do, if you guys want to let them two counties know that potentially that's coming, an increase because of this situation. I don't know if they're even aware of it.
You know, another space is across the street at the Chamber of Commerce, because I think their upstairs was vacant. And so there, it would be close enough proximity that, I'm just thinking of all different spaces, but I don't think, CVB used to be up there and then they moved. I don't think that's being used at all, so.
Yeah.
They're going to house the new regional economic development, but I think it's just on the other side. Is that right?
I think that's gonna be temporary as well.
Okay.
So,
When is that?
As soon as they
You'll
hire.
be doing the search first.
yeah. So they've got Missy appointed as the VP, and then they're doing the search.
Yeah.
So it'd be a couple of months, plus then whoever it is will probably need a couple of months of transition time, and then to get them here and kind of figure out where we want to go with it. I think it's gonna be 6 months to a year down the road before they're moved out of there, but that's the intention, is they have their own place. So it's not, I don't think it'll be soon enough to determine if there's more room for the public defender, but I think we need to visit with them, and if they do have a couple of rooms over there as well, it's not a whole lot different than being at the Adams Street building.
Yeah, and for that matter, going north, there's the building on the corner of Rochelle Weaver's husband. There might be some space in there too.
I think like Harry said,
Yeah.
everything's on the table now, so
Yeah.
I think we do just
I think-
check into some things, and if you wanna see if you know of any rentals downtown,
But ideally, it'd be nice to find something that is in pretty close proximity, but yeah, I will check with, okay, I think really until we decide what we're gonna do with 209 and all this other stuff, I think putting HVAC in there is gonna be, yeah,
all right, well, I'll try to reach out to
Okay.
Justin and see what kind of
yeah.
room he'd need over
Yeah.
at the Adams, so we have an idea.
I'll check with
Okay.
I can
with
talk to
Rochelle and Ann, if you want to talk to
Gary
the
Plummer
chamber,
or
Gary.
chamber? Okay.
Yeah, and then that way we'll try to come up with some ideas this week still.
Okay, well, we'll kick it around and keep moving on it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna go back.
Boy, we're a lot nicer than Boone County.
Well, if Miller and Montauk County have a room that.
They don't.
can-
I had
That's what
asked.
I thought he said too.
That's what I asked when he was here, whether they had any space, and he said no.
Well, for the price that they're paying us, heck, I wouldn't have room either. I thought that was a really good price. Not saying it's wrong or
Okay.
anything, just,
These two overhead door proposals, they're asking for your all signatures down here too, not only the transfers, but are you ready to sign those, or do you want us to verify this before, but they said the amount was right, so that's what's on here.
who's that? So y'all just called overhead to see if that price is for 2 springs
I will get
and
the.
1 slat?
All three of us sign that, or just,
Nope, I'll bring it back on the next agenda.
okay.
So I think we approved the purchase, so they can get it coming. If they need us to sign that, we've approved that for the cost of 2 springs. So if it's 2,800 and some change for 2 springs, we're okay with it. If it's less, because it was, the 2,800 was for 3 springs, I think we're still okay with it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
You want to make a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to section 610.021 RSMO. The commission will go into closed session to discuss the following: real estate, section 610.021, paren 2, close paren.
Second?
Roll call?
Jeff,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
I think it was the parking lot.
Oh,
Well, okay.
So we're not going to.
Oh.
So can I turn this off?
Turn it off.
Yes,
and
turn it
we'll
off.
Decide if we don't really have anything we're talking